What's up, y'all? Thanks again for tuning back into that episode on the Speedbug channel. Today we got a day doing a quick review, just another quick video of 5 things that I really dislike about my X Diavel S 2018. So let's jump right into it. Well, you guys have asked for this review, and I'm going to tell you a few things that I don't really care so much for this bike. And again, you know, overall, I think the bike is damn good because I wouldn't buy any of this bullshit if I really didn't like it. You know, this is not my first bike, this is not my 5th bike, and this is definitely not my 10th bike. I've owned lots of bikes and have ridden damn near every type of motorcycle that there is pretty much out there. Not everyone, don't take it for what it is, but you know exactly what I'm saying. I'm well diverse in this area, and I know what I like, and I know what I don't like, and that's why I bought this stuff. So let's jump right into it. You know, let me just give you guys a few compliments of what I do like. Let's first kick it off, the design. The design is killer. You know, that long drag style bike, you know, open fat tire. I mean, I just don't think you can beat it. This side, you know, with the S model, you get the nice forged rim, you get the exposed belt covers, you know, the trim, you know, the front wheel that's got, you know, got the milled here, you know, all of that, you know, with the S. You know, there's a few other things that you get with it. You know, I'm not going to fully go into all that detail, but if you really want to know exactly what it is, check out the Ducati website. It'll tell you exactly what it is between the X Diavel and the X Diavel S. Jumping forward, one thing that I didn't like about the bike that I mod all the time on all my bikes is obviously that fender cover. I truly think Ducati could have done a better job with what they gave you, but giving you that they wanted to expose the back tire, there really wasn't any area to put a fender or something right here that's going to hold the license plates and the rear turn signals. So I get it. So moving into that and why I'm talking about this mod of why I didn't like that fender, because I understand fully why it was there and not even after the fact, and I knew this was going to happen as soon as I took it off because this little thing wasn't going to do jack shit, is that if you ride in this thing in any bit of wet weather or even run through a little puddle, and we all know South Florida got all these sprinklers and faucets and all kinds of shit that just has running water down the curbs by the beach and stuff like that, that water comes right up the back tire and splashes you all directly in the back, and it's pretty much over. So by having the exposed rear tire, it's really not a design flaw or anything that has to do with the bike. It's just obviously the law of physics. I mean, that's why bikes have fenders and stuff like that, and that's why that was there to cut down on rocks and so on and so forth. Second thing I don't really care so much for this bike was obviously the rear brake, and I made a video about my rear brake locking up. Since then, they have replaced everything pretty much except the lever. They gave me a new reservoir, master, brake line, caliper, pads, rotor inside. Everything is obviously 10 times better than what it was before. However, the rear brakes still overall kind of just suck. And then when you start to try to lock them up, which you can when you turn the ABS off, and the ABS module, wherever it is in here, I haven't even really looked for it, when it decides to make everything, you know, pulsate for the ABS to kick in, obviously it loves to kick back air into the reservoir and causes the brakes to become extremely spongy, and it's rather annoying. I don't know if any other X Diavel owners have noticed that, but on this bike, it is extremely common, and the dealership has taken note about it. Ducati knows about it. I don't know if they're going to plan on getting it fixed. I really don't think it has anything to do with the masters and the slaves and all that. I think it's all in the ABS module itself. But the ABS module itself works. It's just what it does after the fact. It kind of, you know, foams up the brake fluid and provides air into it. So they need to work on that. It works perfectly fine in cars. It works fine on my BMW. It's worked fine on other bikes that I've ridden with ABS. Ducati needs to fix that shit. The third thing that I really don't care for on this bike is the factory exhaust, and that's obviously something that I will change. Now, the tips look pretty cool. You know, got the chrome tip, they got the little diverters inside, but the bike is just kind of really quiet, you know, from the factory. I think Ducati could have put a little bit more noise into the sound of this bike, but then again, having to meet, you know, requirements, you know, with DOT and federal regulations for the bike to be shipped into the States, I guess that's kind of why they leave it up to you or me, that straight pipe life, to make the bike as loud as you want. Other than that, it's okay. Fourth thing I noticed when I ride this bike, but it's more so because it's an L-twin, V-twin, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's 2 cylinders in a V formation. You want to turn it way, now it's an L, whatever. I don't care. Is that during low RPMs of acceleration, pretty much anything below, I would say, 2,500, the bike really doesn't like to be driven at a low RPM. You could really feel the alternating, firing of the pistons running back and forth, obviously on the crank to transfer that, amount of horsepower and torque through the wheel. It's not that it has to be a lot. It doesn't mean it's at full throttle or quarter throttle. Just at such a low RPM, you can really feel the firing between the pistons, and it causes a significant amount of vibration within the motorcycle. Meaning so it sometimes causes me to downshift so that I can go into a lower gear so that I can raise the RPMs above 3,000. So it provides a much smoother operation. And when I say this, not only is it kind of annoying, the vibration travels a lot up through the handlebars, and when you're driving through the city and stuff and the vibration's coming through, even though you have these wonderful milled mirrors, everything here from Ducati, I wouldn't change them at all. I think they're perfect, but because the vibration is so intense, it allows the mirrors to vibrate a lot. So again, I don't know if that has to do with maybe engine tuning or anything like that. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not going to mess with it. This bike has a full warranty, and that's just how it is. Everything can't be perfect. The fifth and final thing, as always, as I'm nitpicking on all this, is the thing that I hated the most is that, of course, I had to pay for it. Same reason with the V4. So overall, out of all the Ducatis that I've bought, including the 959 and the Hypermotard, these are hands down the 2 that I enjoy the most. As I've always said, the 959, excuse me, not the 959, my Hypermotard, which is not pictured here, it's just nothing but a big Grom, and that's okay, but the Cruiser and the V4 are the 2 that I liked the most from Ducati. The other ones I just bought, for other reasons, and I don't want to go into that right now. I'll make another video on that, but these 2 are the ones that I appreciated the most, and I overall, I think they're pretty good, and if I didn't like them, I wouldn't have bought them. Overall, I think it's a great bike. It's super comfortable. I really like how you can really adjust the suspension and dial it in, the compression and the rebound, and it really takes flight to adjustability, and it's actually really easy to even adjust on the fly. So, but like I said, I commute with this bike mostly to work, back and forth, because I got a few miles of a commute that I got to ride it into the office, so I like to sit back, relax, and enjoy. But for a cruiser, this thing hauls ass, I haven't topped it out or anything yet. That's why I haven't made a video of it, but I can definitely tell you it goes over 150, and that's pretty crazy for a cruiser. A little bit tough to hold on because you're kind of like a parachute in that position, but it gets up and it scoots, and it hasn't really fallen on its face, but I can't imagine, obviously, it would go much further than that. So, but it's a great bike, and if you're looking, I think, for the ultimate hybrid cruiser, meaning if you don't want a Harley, or you don't want like a Honda Shadow, or any Kawasaki's, whatever the case may be that you're looking for, but you don't want a sport bike, I think this is the ultimate, ultimate compromise, because you don't have to always deal with the forward-facing controls. You can relocate them to the mid-controls here, so it feels a little bit more sporty. And it's overall, it's a good bike, I've really grown to like it, and if I didn't, that's why it wouldn't have the miles that it has on it now. And out of all the bikes, it's the one that has grown with the most miles, and it's the one I've still ridden the most. So I hope this has been informative to any of you all. I hope that, the Ducati fanboys are going to give me shit just like I did with, you all did with the V4, me bitching and nitpicking on all the things that I didn't like on my V4, and these are just me nitpicking, but overall I think it's a great bike, and I really still don't have many complaints about this one. The other 2 bikes, the 959 and the Hypermotard, I will have some further complaints regarding them that I don't so much care for, but that will be in those videos, and you'll have to stay tuned for them while they're still here, while they haven't sold yet. But again, if you want any of these, They can be sold, and to the right buyer for the right price. DM me, feel free to contact me, and I'll be more than happy to, maybe if, all the grounds right, maybe make an offer. But I think that's going to conclude it here for today's video. Again, if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you here for another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Don't forget to check out my Instagram, that's the Speedbug, same name here as YouTube, for further updates. Deuces.